It is Wednesday night again. This is the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. I'm Dan Foss, and tonight we've got Gun Websites. How's it going, G-Webs? If you said something, we didn't hear it.
Oh, fair to Midland. Thanks for
There
hosting.
you go. And Gizzard Gary. How's it going, Gary?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
And Woods. How are you doing?
Hey, friend of Washington, how are you?
Wait, what?
I'm doing good. And Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
I am doing swell. I cannot wait for this vegetable bracket tonight. It's going to be awesome.
Well, there is a poll, which it's pinned to the top of the chat. If you haven't voted in this week's poll, it's vegetable
Sport brackets.
There won't be a bracket. There turns out that I don't have to sleeve the cylinders, but I do have to have the valve seats lapped, so it'll be a little bit longer on the bracket.
Darn.
If you upgraded to electronic brackets, you wouldn't have to worry about all this old-fashioned business anymore.
I know, but the cost of the upgrade, I'm just not sure. But let me get the banner going here. I got one. There we go. At the bottom of the screen, there is a scroll going there with an email address, untacticalfoss@gmail.com, and a link for the Discord server. It's a place to hang out, chit chat, share pictures, memes. You can get a hold of me there, and some of the panelists there, and I think on the overnight we're going to go through the Gorn section, or this weekend's overnight. We'll set aside a little time to go through Gorn. We haven't done that in a while.
How does one submit Gorn to this situation?
You can email it, the untacticalfoss@gmail.com, or post it. If you're on the Discord server, post it in there. And let me get back to the comments. So far out there was the Saint. And guy that comments, to join the mouse party, do you have to have a Mauser? No, you don't. So
How
I don't know. We'll
get
get
a custom link to your Discord server?
What's that?
How did you get a custom link to your Discord server like that?
It's just tied to my. I have a website, but all my website does is, it takes you to my YouTube channel. But you can.
Oh, you have redirects set up. Okay.
Yeah, and then this is tied in to the website. I don't quite understand all of it, but our IT department handled it for me.
That's pretty slick.
And I, a big thanks to both Cowgirl Candace and Baron. They've always kind of been in the background there, taking care of the Gilded and the Discords, both the Discords, the old Discord and the new Discord. But they kind of told me, well, they took care of it. Told me how to do it, but I don't, it didn't stick.
So you have a webmaster.
Yes. And Brooke Cheney's out there. Good evening.
What's she doing up?
What? What is up with
Way
today?
past her bedtime.
Everybody during the day is up in the middle of the night now? What's going on?
Maybe
I know what it is. Gay people don't have no rules anymore. They don't have any jobs.
She is supposed to be getting 8 hours of sleep.
Maybe she took a nap before, like I did. I set an alarm for the show.
Must have.
I don't know. In any case, it's very nice to see her out there. Hey, Gary, can you drop a link for her channel?
For this one or the Great Start Shooting School?
Whichever you.
Yeah,
feel is
sure will.
appropriate.
I'm right on that.
But a very awesome lady. Suicide prevention Saturday. It's our show she does every Saturday, and she's also a trainer and all around great lady. So it's worth checking out her channel.
Done.
World class trainer.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
There. I'll go ahead and look at the poll. Let me get the right window open here. So this week's poll was favorite vegetable: corn, green beans, peas, lettuce, or porterhouse. And 51% said porterhouse.
Amazing.
24% said corn, 12% green beans, 9% peas, 4% lettuce. I probably should have put carrots in there instead of lettuce, but I was on break at work and just kind of quickly went through.
I find the lack of bacon disturbing.
Well, I figure usually on polls like this, you'll get people who all answer like steak. So I went ahead and put a steak as one of the answers, one of the choices. And it turns out that half of everybody said steak.
Well, in my defense, the vegetables that my steak eats just means that my steak is repackaged vegetables.
Well, that's what Caucasian Sasquatch said. My food eats your food. New York Outcast. LOL. I was going to say green beans, but I can't pass up a porterhouse. The goddamn bacon said a real man eats whatever eats porterhouse. As some guru once said. Two-way chef and barbecue. I don't pay for half the weight of a steak and bone. I grill up New York strip with my corn. Guns and Water said
Casey
corn, steak, and potatoes. Krabby Turtle said give peas a chance. And Michigan for Conservative said a rutabaga, and then dropped a link for, I believe it's a link to, God, now I just blanked on his name.
Mushrooms
Frank
aren't a vegetable.
Zappa. It's a Frank Zappa song about vegetables, naming the name of the vegetable, something like that.
Peas aren't vegetables either, but they're on the list.
They are, because it's my list. But thank you to everybody who participated.
Food has parents.
Rick said I totally heard that wrong. Corn, just changed one letter. Now it's triple X. Gary said mushrooms. I enjoy sauteed mushrooms. I really like that.
Yep.
Mushrooms are their own thing, though. They're not a vegetable.
Mushrooms are disgusting.
Oh, come on. If you go to Texas Roadhouse, you've got to get the mushrooms and the grilled onions. So come on. Put on
Just
top of your
the
steak.
onions.
Oh,
Onions only.
I like grilled onions, but I don't like a lot of grilled onions. Kind of the same with a mushroom burger. burger with sauteed mushrooms or with grilled onions, I'll usually order kind of a half serving of those on the burger. The Saint said onion. He's a multi-layered guy.
You can do a lot with an onion.
You can. Ozzy Osbourne is out there. Good evening.
Barking at a banana.
I was looking at guns earlier online, window shopping.
Ooh, what are you gonna buy?
Well, I don't know. I kind of want another 40 for carry. I've been carrying my P30, HK P30 lately, but that's kind of my bedside gun, and I'd rather keep it at the bedside. So I kind of want another 40 for carry.
Smith and Wesson is coming out, or has came out, I believe, with the M&P metal in 40 Smith and Wesson now, I believe.
Well, that's all good and great, but I want a hammer fired.
Oh, so you want a P320, in other words.
So I don't know, but I did notice as I was just kind of looking at this and that Walther has come out with the PD 380, which replaces the PK 380. This is probably only going to be interesting to Chris from the 740. He's I think the only other person I know that has a PK 380. Both of ours are not good guns.
Yeah, I've heard that about them.
They're either great and they run flawless, or they're not great, and both of ours are not great. So I was kind of curious on if the PD 380 addresses whatever problem was with the PK 380, and I can't really find any information.
It looks pretty awesome. Just looking at pictures.
The only real difference is they updated the slide to look like the PDP. I think the PDP. But from everything I've read, well, I was just reading before the chat, everything else is kind of the same. So I don't know if it fixed the problem. They say they ran 40,000 rounds through one to, I think it was like 40,000 to test it. So maybe they addressed whatever problem it is without ever admitting what problem it is. I know with the PK380, they would, there was a recall, and when people would send it in, they would replace the ejector, I think. I can't remember if it was the extractor ejector. And then one other part, and I don't remember what that other part was now. But I don't know. They're not, the PK380 was not a great gun, but it's not technically a Walther. It's branded Walther, but it was made by God, now I can't think of the name. They own Walther. They make like air guns and stuff.
Umarex.
Yeah, Umarex. It was actually made by Umarex and branded Walther. So that's why the quality isn't Walther quality. Because it is, I mean, you shake it and it rattles like a can full of rocks. But I just found it interesting that they.
You could just buy another revolver. Just throwing it out there.
I was kind of looking at those, you know, I was looking at stuff online. Let me show. I'll show a picture of the. Well, that Walther that I was just talking about.
Yeah, I just did a quick search on it. And it's like, oh, that looks kind of neat.
So that's the PD 380.
For the safety on the slide?
Yep.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it is not the greatest place. Because I used to carry my PK380 and I had the safety switch on at some point while holstering. Luckily, I was at the range, so it didn't matter. But yeah, that turned out to be a kind of a problem. And it looks like it still uses the funky takedown system. You've got a special little key that goes in the little hole to unlock it, and then you pull down these kind of tab things here. And if you have a PK380, you can use a valve stem tool, which is kind of what I did. I've got the original tool, and then I kept extra valve stem tools around because that also fits down in there, so you can use that to unlock it.
In listening to you, you're not giving this gun a ringing endorsement. Just so you know, if you were trying to sell me this gun, I wouldn't buy it.
Well, I'm not. I'm not. To me, there are definition issues, and when I was trying to read more about it online, but everything that I read kind of seemed to be people that probably got them for free to do reviews. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, and nobody addressed any of the issues from the PK380. Because I can't find anywhere that compares them other than to say that the slide is, the slide cuts are different. But form factor wise, it's kind of a larger size 380, which for my hands felt comfortable. It's one of the things I liked about it. But I quickly stopped carrying it because mine. I think the main problem I was having was not returning the battery. So that's kind of a problem. But they may have figured out whatever the issue was and addressed it here. I don't know. I'm not going to get one. But from everything that I've read so far, I haven't seen anybody say anything really negative about it. This is the PK380. Oh, I'm not sharing it anymore. Hang on, let me reshare this.
So if nobody said anything negative about it, did anybody say anything positive about it?
Yeah, but everybody said the exact same positive things, which it kind of sounded like a press release.
So they got a free gun, and they're not going to talk shit about the free gun.
That's kind of the what it seemed like to me, but I don't know. This is the PK380, the old one, and then this is the PD380. So you can see the deeper slide cuts here compared to kind of thinner. But it was so easy racking; it wasn't a problem being smoother on the slide. Ozzy's suggesting the Taurus TH40 compact. I was kind of looking at those. I would probably just go with the full size. I've got the TH9, which I really like. It's a solid for being a budget gun. It's solid. You shake it, there's no rattle to it. I've never had a problem with it. The Saint is suggesting the P226 trade-in, police trade-in.
I think
Carolina EDC reviews is out there. What was that?
I'm gonna say I totally think you should get a 10 millimeter 1911.
Of course, I had looked at those while I was looking, but those are all outside the price range I would be looking at. Defense dads out there must not be able to sleep.
What about in a Rock Island?
I don't want a Rock Island. I mean, I don't. I would own a Rock Island, but I don't want a Rock Island for a carry gun.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know. And you know, if I was to go to the gun shop and say, "Hey, order me this thing," usually what'll happen is I'll see something in the case and then end up buying what's in the case. So, who knows?
Well, I only enable gun purchases, so I think you should totally do it.
Well, I had realized, well, when I was looking at, I've got a savings account that I'll put, you know, a little bit away in now and again, and I had forgotten that I had put a little bit in there. So I have a little more to play with than I thought I did, but still not very much. And plus, I have to do this while my wife's out of town. So,
That was the most married thing ever said on the internet ever.
Incredible.
but well, I had kind of warned my wife, but it was more when my son was a baby. I had told her, if you leave us alone, whatever happens is your fault. You left us alone.
Well, that's just fact.
Yeah, she did say at the airport, as I gave her a hug and a kiss while she was standing in the line, and she looks at me and she goes, "Don't go crazy."
What I heard is buy guns, but don't buy too many.
Sounds like you can get at least 5.
No, I don't have 5-gun money.
I feel like there's going to be a Danger Mouse OnlyFans coming.
Oh no, those days are long past. Oh, just as I was thinking about it. So a reminder, in 4 more chats, once we hit 100 for the mouse party, we're going to do a giveaway. I've got the Wicked Awesome AK rubber band gun. It's kind of one of those wood puzzle ones, but it's multiple shot and the charging handle moves like it's moving the bolt and stuff. It's pretty cool. I showed it, I think last week I showed it. And there's a survival hatchet, which is back over there. And I think I'll give away, I've got one more of the survival knives that X Adam 1 sent me. He also sent me the survival hatchet. But we'll do like 3 different packages of stuff. And I'm thinking we'll give 2 away during the chat and then do 1 package for people who comment on the replay. That way they can participate too. So that'll be in 4 more chats-ish. Defense Dad said, if you like older Walthers, is a good deal on PPS right now at Brownells. I have shot a few different Walthers, and I mean, like, I have a PPK, which I really do like that, and I carry it all the time. Which, well, as I was looking at guns today, PPKs are up to $900 for PPK, which to me is wow, crazy. I bought mine used. It's a stainless for like $350, I think. That was only How long ago? Maybe like 4 years ago.
Like I told you the other day, that's the one my wife wants.
Yeah, the um, only kind of problem she might have is racking it. You felt how stiff that spring is in it,
Yeah, I fucked it up. Did it good.
and then it's even harder when you have to take it down. You pull down on the trigger guard and then have to pull back. It's
The rack I can teach her. The taking it apart, she's not going to do any part of that. She's going to be like, yeah, she's going to hand it to me and make me do it.
yeah, but other than that, it's it's a really accurate gun. That blowback design, it's really accurate, and I do really like that.
I mean, she's got other guns. She just wants that one, but she's not super
Yeah.
into guns to start with. We talked about it. She's like, eh. She doesn't hate him. She doesn't love him. She doesn't really care.
And they are very cool. I got your text, Defense Dad. As I was saying, the Walthers, I don't really like them, and plus, I only carry hammer fired guns. I'm weird like that.
You know what has hammers? Revolvers.
That's true. They do.
You can
Not
get
gonna
revolvers in 380 if you want one.
I don't know, because I was looking. I was looking at the 44 Magnums, like the Taurus 44 Magnums and stuff. But I don't know.
You need to join the 30 Super Carry revolution. That's where it's at now.
I would probably buy 38 Super before I bought 30 Super Carry.
Just
Personally,
remember you said that when everybody's doing it, and you could have got in on the ground floor.
that's all right. I'm not much of a follower.
Well, being a 40 Smith & Wesson fan pretty much puts you on the outskirts too, but I too love 40. So,
I mean, I've got two others. 'Cause I've got the PK380 and in 40 and the 4006.
everybody should have a 4006.
I would like to kind of carry the 4006, but I can't find the holster that I like for it.
Oh, I know where you can get a holster for a 4006. Somebody in the chat might know too.
He was very kind to me, and he sent me one for my Kimber.
Ah, yeah, I got one for my 4006.
But I don't know. There's a very specific holster and look to it that I want, and I had thought about reaching out to Budget when he was doing leather stuff, but he kind of had a lot of stuff going on lately, so I never contacted him because I wanted like a two-tone leather kind of like a pancake one with a two-tone with black and brown. But
also, I believe Mark Thomas, if you know him, he makes them too. So.
That's what I've heard. That he's really good. G23, I think, has one of his holsters, and I've heard a few people say that he's really good at doing them. Because I've got my cop holster for it. Just I felt like it should have a cop holster, but I'm not going to carry this as a everyday carry. I really need to clean up my workbench.
Only thing is, if you're going to carry that 4006, you better have a good strong belt because that's a heavy. It's a heavy mama.
It is. I do. I have a Versacarry. That Versacarry we got at Thunder on the Prairie.
Yeah.
I love that belt.
Yeah, they'd do it.
I mean, I loved it so much. I bought one to wear as a work belt because I had one of the Trackline, the whatever the Trackline calls their belts now, which I really liked. You know, the adjustability. It's the ratchet style.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make it comfortable, but after trying that Versacarry belt, which I wasn't even going to try it, and it's like, well, I have it here, I might as well try it so I can do a review. Ended up really liking it, and I know Barbecue likes the thick belts. I think he likes the Hanks thick leather belts.
The Hanks belts are really nice, but the Versacarry, I was actually just wearing my Versacarry belt today. It really is a great belt. I like a traditional belt. I'm not into those Trackline belts that do the click thing.
Yeah.
It's just the Kydex core I find ends up cracking and breaking, and I'm just like, and like even one of my Hanks belts has a Kydex core to it, and same situation, the Kydex inside ended up breaking on it, but at least it's got a really good real leather on the outside to hold everything together. You don't have to worry about it eventually wearing out and ripping or anything like that.
Yeah, the after wearing the Versacarry for a while, when I went back and tried the Trackline, it felt really thin comparatively. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how much that I really like those Versacarry belts. Yeah, and the Trackline one, I know you had kind of complained about wear. Mine started showing wear, which I was kind of disappointed. With the Versacarry, the one thing I suggest if you get them, those Chicago bolts, Loctite them. Both my belts I've had them come off. Both times while using a urinal, I hear pink. Luckily, it didn't go into the toilet, but
That's awful. Luckily, I have not had that happen. Now, like the Hanks belts, the Chicago screws, are super tight, and I haven't had to Loctite those. But on my Versacarry belt, it's like a button. It's not an actual screw, so it just snaps.
I'm always concerned about something falling off into a urinal. That's why I don't wear pants when I go over to the urinal.
But how do you keep it from flopping into the cake?
I gotta hold everything up.
Ozzy sent in a picture of a holster. Another one with the snake skin insert.
The only good snake.
I like it.
Recall if he said what it was for. Nope, just said pancake holster. Very nice. How long did this take you, Ozzy? He said that's a G43X.
We lost barbecue.
Oh, he said he'll be back.
He said he's vacuuming.
May have to go beat his kids or something. He'll be back.
It happens.
If they're up at 2:30 in the morning, yeah.
Well, they're probably going to school tomorrow. Nothing.
Ozzy said it took him 6 hours over 4 days. That seems fast. I don't know. I've never made anything out of leather, so to me it would seem like it would probably take me a lot longer than that.
I'll bet he's done a few.
I believe he has.
I feel
And
like
Gabriel's.
I have about 6 hours of cuss words while I'm trying to pull it.
And Gabriel said, "Don't holster the snack."
Was there a debate today? When's that debate?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's today, technically.
Who's going to win?
Here it's today. Don't know.
Billionaires.
Are they? Yeah, that's right. Are they neck and neck right now, or is one of them leading? Does anybody know?
Depends on
I
who
don't
you
know.
ask.
Oh, okay.
I don't- Fundraising wise, I think Trump is winning.
Is anybody going to watch that thing? I only know about it because I saw a meme about it today, so I figured it was today.
I probably won't.
I'll watch it, but I don't know if I'll watch it live.
I think the longer it goes, the advantage goes to Trump because the whatever drugs they're using to prop up Biden will, as they wear off.
I don't know. I watch his speeches in full too often. I don't think that he's as weak as he acts like, or as people on our side think he is, because I think he sets the weak parts up for what do they call that? But I think he sets those things up for clips, so that he can keep the other side thinking he's less than he is.
Well, and they're going to cut mics, and there's no audience. So
that was the joke on CNN. Like,
right.
Trump, tell us why you're so evil. Like, you get 1 minute, and then it's like, well, and he's like, nope, you took too long, and you're wrong. And then they're like, Mr. Biden, take as long as you want. Tell us why you're so awesome.
Oh, I think Trump had said that they wanted one of the stipulations they wanted him to agree to is they would be sitting down, and he said he wouldn't do that.
But like, part of his game is ripping off the audience. He's like, the audience reaction, that's his game. Like, with no audience, he's going to be kind of out of his element there. Plus, when they cut him off,
there's no audience?
There's no audience.
That's so weird.
And they're going to, they'll cut his mic when he tries to talk over people. That's his whole game.
Oh, that's like one of the rules, you mean?
Right.
Lame.
Well, he agreed to it. He didn't have to come in the first place. I don't know why his team would agree to that, but okay.
Well, because if he's going to try to appeal to the other side at all, then he's got to, I would think that he's going to try to not overtalk the other guy kind of thing.
Yeah, I care very little on who wins that one myself.
Yeah.
I care about the governor of mine in Fawcett State more. The guy that wrote 1639 is running for governor.
Yeah, yeah. I
And he was your attorney general before?
Yep. I think he will. I think he will probably win, just because we are such a blue state.
Yeah, agreed.
Y'all were the way you are, or was it California's influence? But is it like Boeing in Seattle that makes you the way you are, or is it California? Or I guess Microsoft.
We were pretty weird on our own.
That's what I mean. Like, you guys were already had some weird gun laws throughout the time. Then you got really good for a minute, like way better than you were, and then it got bad, really bad.
My answer is always, we're not trying to be California, but we might be trying to be South Canada.
Oh, I never thought about your Canada influence, because they're not going to be able to influence Montana for shit. And Idaho doesn't matter. And Wisconsin, they probably fight with. I don't know about the East Coast states, but I bet you they're the only state that Canada gets along with. Do you know? Am I wrong? Or I just get the idea that the other states don't have time for Canada.
I don't know.
Because you got a big city there. I mean, like, Montana doesn't have no big city right next to it.
Because because I don't know about the other states. Because like there's ferries that go up to Vancouver, BC. So there's tourism that kind of goes back and forth.
I believe they prefer to be called little flying people, but whatever.
Yeah. There doesn't seem to be a huge difference between like the Vancouver area and this side of the border.
Oh yeah, I mean, why do any show that they want to be set in where the show is set in Seattle? It's actually filmed in Vancouver because it's practically the same thing.
But like a third the price, probably.
Yeah, they have better beer.
I can remember going to Canada when I wasn't 21 yet, so I could drink in Canada.
Yeah, for sure.
At least 3 times, I think.
We went there all the time when I was a kid. Like 19, 20, like all the time.
How far away is it from you?
From Seattle, it's like, 2.5, 3 hours, depending on traffic.
Okay. And can you get on one of them ferries and just not even have to drive?
Yeah, you can now. Couldn't then.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I guess if you could, I don't know. We just didn't know you could.
I got on a ferry from Seattle, I think, to Vancouver Island, and I'm pretty sure. Was that like a half an hour, or am I crazy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not far, but we have ferries going all over the place over here.
Yeah, I've never taken the ferry. I can't remember what's the little town right across the border, like White Rock or something like that. Went there because girlfriend was under 21. We went across the border, went to a bar. They were all assholes at the bar.
Is there any issue there with minors across the border type of shit?
I don't know. I haven't.
You're talking about it back in the day or now? Because now I have no idea.
I just thought I remember back in the day there was some kind of issue, like if you had a younger girlfriend going like to another state, you'd get in trouble sometime.
Oh, every time I've ever drove into Canada, they were like, "Hi," and they just let you in. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Didn't really hassle you. It's coming back where you get hassled. Canada let you do damn near anything in there. Like, go ahead, knock yourself out.
AAF
We
American.
couldn't drive into Canada because we had too many guns. Like even back in the 80s, whenever that was, I think it was in the 80s, we couldn't even drive over there because we had guns. So we left our van and the truck in Seattle, got a ride to the ferry, and they got picked up on the other side. So we took the ferry, but we didn't have a car on the ferry.
You were good kids. We didn't do that.
Oh, scared shitless.
AAF American Ammo and Firearms is out there. Yeah, Mr. Bob Dabalina. Mr. Bob said before Illinoising became a two-way hellhole, their drinking age was 18. Everyone in St. Louis area knew the East Side clubs.
Yeah, we come back with truckloads of Kokanee, of all things.
Of what?
Kokanee, it was dirt cheap. It's a brand of beer.
Oh.
Yeah, it's higher alcohol content.
Yeah, we bring back literally truckloads.
I turned 18 like the years. Wait, I can't remember. I think I turned 18 like the year after it all switched to 21. So we knew like our older sisters and older brothers and stuff, like they could drink at 18. And then I think it was grandfather. They could still keep drinking at like 19. But those of us that were that age, like, nope, 21. So that's when we booked to other states.
Yeah, for Washington now, even cigarettes are 21.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, that'll stop a lot of cancer. No way kids are getting their hands on cigarettes.
No, come on. Never. If you prohibit things, you can't get them. If you make a law saying you can't have it, people listen to those laws and they just don't do that anymore.
It's like when the sun comes out and it comes out from behind a cloud and it just starts getting nicer. Yep.
Vulcan Rebels out there. Good evening. Good morning.
Well, some kind of contest we can do where everybody who's listening can contribute to it.
I don't know what kind contest.
I don't know.
Ozzy said I turned 18. They turned legal at 18 in Illinois, but Ozzy is Ozzy's like
he's older than me then.
Well, I was gonna try to remember if he was older than Gary.
No, he's older than Gary.
Not quite. I think it's just a few months difference.
We had people that were older than Gary, I think, on Gary's Sunday show, right? Weren't there people older than you in that show?
Single Shot's quite a bit older than me. Well, Cycle Camp.
John Brown, or
John Brown, yes. John Brown is.
Cycle Camp's older than you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
I miss that, dude. I love seeing all his Melserps. He was great.
Yeah, I get a Christmas card from him every once in a while.
Trying to think who else. Somebody who comes into my foul territory every once in a while is older than me. I can't remember. Is it Dale Pogue? I can't remember.
I got an idea. So how many keys are on your keychain?
Hey, I can make a poll.
I got it hanging up in the living room. Oh, I have a bunch.
I have 4. I don't like a lot of keys on my keychain.
1100.
Yeah, Ozzy's 10 months younger than me. Yeah, we were born the same year, but I was born towards the beginning of the year, and he was born later in the year.
Yeah, you guys are as old as my older brothers. Type of age.
So let's say 3, 4, 6. Add an option. 7 to 9. Let's add 2, 12.
I was looking for a way to get everybody to participate in the chat, like to be able to type something in there, and then I get some kind of data about how many keys people carry around.
So there's a poll. How many keys are on your keychain? 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12. 10 to 12 we can consider. I should have put 10 or more.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go look.
I'm going 10 or more without even having to look. And that's not including the ones I have per school. That's
Yeah, exactly. I'm not talking work keys because work keys can add up really quick.
Defense stats at 4.
Has a Key Smart. You ever used a Key Smart? That's where it's like a Swiss Army knife except with keys instead of blades.
I wanted to try those, but the keys I have, I can't use on those.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you got big fat ones or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the fobs. You can't put that
I had one of them for a good long time. I really liked it.
And you said 4.
For a while, I used to have a bunch of keys, but now I don't like having extra stuff on my key ring that I take around with me. And I can pull off my keys, my car keys from my other keys so that, you know what I mean? Like if I need to give my car keys to somebody, I can not have everything.
2, 3.
I definitely have it set up where I can take my car key off of all the other ones for sure. Like if it's in the shop or whatever.
Right.
I counted 8 on mine.
Up your car or something.
I think I have 5. And when I had my bikes, I had, I guess, 8. Because one of my bikes, I had 2 keys. Then the other one, I had 1 key. Oh, no, I've got more than 5. At least 6. I'll say I have at least 6.
Well, I forgot Mr. Bob is older than me.
No, I didn't know that.
Just barely.
It's lame that they don't give us a link to get, like, you can, as the owner of this, you can get right to the YouTube from this, but we can't. We have to go find your YouTube and shit.
Yeah, you used to be able to, but for some reason, YouTube decided that was not a good thing.
Where was it? Up top?
No, it was you click on them and then it would give you the option.
No, I'm talking about from inside of StreamYard. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I just
like as the owner, you can do it, and I get used to it because I'm always running my own shows. But then I'm like, oh dang, I can't have to go find the show to do the poll. You can't see the poll.
YouTube chat, if you're a moderator, you can.
Are you not?
No, I was just talking about StreamYard. I was trying to find the chat to vote on the poll, and I was like, oh shit, I can't click on the thing.
Oh yeah, anytime I'm on anybody else's chat, I'll run the YouTube side so I can chat over there.
Yeah, I just didn't have it open because now I can chat. I can watch the chat at least on the inside over here on the comments tab.
Yeah,
but I don't think you see super chats or anything else.
No.
So how many work keys? When I was working at the one place, I had a crap load of keys.
Oh yeah, I used to have a bunch of keys that were just for work.
My work keys I leave at work. I've only got three keys, and then I've got kind of like a multi-tool that they.
Oh, you don't got to open the doors or nothing there? Like you don't have to take them home to be able to open the store?
No.
I was on call, so I'd have to half time I took a truck home, but when I didn't, I would still have my keys because then I had to go to the place, get a truck, and then go wherever I had to go.
Well, I would prefer to have my keys with me, just in case, but I'm afraid I will forget my keys at home.
Yeah.
So if I leave them at work, then they're always at work. I
would have a second set, but I had when we were driving around with gases in the back of the truck doing air conditioning stuff, I would lock the gases so when we steal them, and then they wouldn't fall out or nothing. But so you have to have them. I didn't feel like leaving it in the truck, so I'd have them on my keychain. So anyway, I had a double set. So if I ever did get to work without them, I had a whole set of them. How long before you think it's just all computer chips? We don't have keys physically anymore. I was almost like that at AOL. Like I didn't need a key at AOL or at Microsoft, really. That's all electronic stuff.
I think it'll it'll be a long while before everything is that way. Like a lot of the government offices around here, they use key cards to get in and out. But for small businesses, it'll be a while before they ever spend the money to do that.
I just sold a doorknob that was $79. So it's $79 to get a fancy doorknob that you just walk up and wave a thing in front of, or have a buttons you can push to get in. So it's not super expensive to have a front door like that.
So we had 50% said 4 to 6 keys on a keychain. 25% was 7 to 9, 12% 1 to 3, and 12% 10 to 12. Yeah, when I had my motorcycles, I had it so I could take them off if I wanted to, because that was a kind of a large bundle of keys. With the, because like, you get 2 car keys with the fobs, either a fob or the key, the smart key, the built-in buttons on the keys, and they're like 4 keys fat, at the size of 4 keys stacked together on their own. Gets to be kind of bulky.
They keep telling us at the school I work at that we're going to go to. I've got a key card to get into the building if I want to go that way, but I also have 1,100 keys for different filing cabinets and all kinds of stuff inside the building. But the building was built in 1971, so it's old as I am, and they haven't really refurbished it in a long time.
Yeah, they're not. It'll be a while before like a file cabinet has an electronic lock on it.
They'll knock down the whole building before they bother doing that. They'll literally rebuild the school.
That's, I mean, it'll take like before that becomes a thing, and then all their file cabinets get replaced. Like that'll be forever.
Right.
Oh, the Tai school in SeaTac?
Yeah.
No.
They're redoing that one. When I drop my wife off at the airport, I don't do the way they want you to go. I go the way
you go up 180. You go up 188.
Yeah, that's the way ever since I was a kid, that's the way we went. So that's the way I
ever go there. You end up right at the airport.
Yeah. But it drove past there, and they're redoing the Tai school.
Well, a lot of times it's because they use the California design, and a lot of schools like my building, there's doors that are classrooms that open out, and for security, you want to move it back from the back from the road, and have one focal point where everybody has to go through one place. So that's usually the problem.
And it's probably good, to update it, but it's kind of sad. Just that you're losing the design of the school is kind of neat. I thought,
right?
The look of the school.
What school is it?
TYEE.
Why are you saying that? Is that just the name of the school, or does that mean something?
Name of the school.
It's just a regular school, though.
Is that Kent?
What's that? No, well, it's SeaTac.
What district is that? SeaTac? No, what district is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Kent. It's got to be Kent. It's the same district I work for, but I work in Covington, which is 40 miles away.
I know this. Nobody else is going to care about that, but I just it's a Northwest thing, so I.
When I was going to high school, they always told us our high school was California blueprint or design. And that's why we'd always complain like it was cold or hot. And they're like, yeah, the school was made for California. It never was made for winter.
Right.
And it was made for summers that were hot and not our summers.
They did that in Washington too. Like everything's wet in the middle of the winter. In the middle of winter, it's raining for 40 days and nights. And every door goes outside. Every school. Did
you have a big hole in the middle of your school? Like a courtyard or whatever?
Yeah, and they just become a mud bog after a while.
Like, here's a courtyard, but don't smoke in it. Everybody else up until your year could smoke in there, but you can't smoke in there.
That's the way Southkit's app. It wasn't in the middle of the school, but they had a designated area up until the year before I started. Then they stopped letting kids who were 18 smoke on campus.
I did the 12 years at Catholic school. We just had eternal damnation and guilt. We didn't do any of that.
There was no smoking on campus and shit.
There was no breathing wrong, or they would whack you.
You could before you could smoke in the courtyard, or you could go outside and smoke. And then when I was there, you could smoke, but you had to go to the like where the teachers would smoke and shit. So essentially the giant smoking area for all the shop kids. And
you had to be 2 blocks off school grounds was the rules.
Oh man. Could you? Well, you could leave school then, because I've talked to people who couldn't leave school. We could book out of school if we had lunch. We could just leave. It was awesome.
We had a closed campus, so yeah. Unless you had an excuse, you couldn't leave.
Crazy. It might have got like that, I imagine, or it's probably like that now. But back then, all the older kids would just leave, because they didn't have no rules. They could do whatever they wanted. Like say they could drink when they were 18 and shit. But at lunchtime, anybody had a car. That was the main thing. Or you had to know somebody had a car, and then they would just book out and eat hot dogs or whatever. Go to like an actual restaurant. Everybody else is eating bullshit cafeteria food or whatever their parents gave them. It's like fucking school lunch. These kids are like booking off to the restaurants. We were nowhere near restaurants, but you could get to them in a car. You could like get to it, order, and have to eat it on the way back. Like you couldn't fart around, but you could leave.
Had 2 of my friends in high school. One would, if he had like a doctor's appointment, he'd have other friend drive him. Say, oh, he's my ride, so he has to go too.
I knew people like that. It was always brothers and sisters, though. And then I started taking college classes in junior year, so I could start leaving also. But like I say, we could leave anyway. But I could just leave half the day, and take classes at college the rest of the day.
Well, I just didn't show up. I didn't enjoy being there, so I didn't go. I missed the maximum allowable days before
they let me take law enforcement classes I'm pretty sure I took them for junior and senior year, because I had done all my other classes I needed to graduate type of thing. And then I could take college classes, and then I could take like pre-law enforcement. So that was awesome. Get to leave high school, go take 2 or 3, I think 2 classes a day or something, and then get college credit for them.
I know, I didn't.
Half of a town away, so you had to book out of there, get to school. It was pretty neat. You had to like run around doing college, go to 2 different college classes, go into the giant parking lot. It was awesome.
I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, so I, did the minimum. I graduated with like a 2.0.
For me, it worked out pretty good because I really wanted to be a cop, and then after that, I knew I didn't want to be a cop anymore. So I think it accomplished what it should do, right? Like tell somebody like the real deal about what the job is going to be like, instead of just a bunch of blowing wind up their butt.
I got a 1.2, but they still let me graduate. I think they just want to be rid of me.
Went to community college after high school and ended up, again, not really going. We got, I think it was 3 free lines of bowling every day with our student ID for the community college. So I ended up spending more time bowling than I did going
like at the campus or at a bowling alley nearby?
At a bowling alley nearby. And, kind of went
Did that
everywhere I'd move.
Team or just as a perk for being a student? Okay.
Just for being a student. So I went to this and that community colleges, when I'd move and then take some classes, but still never really figured stuff out. But the older I got, as I kind of started getting more responsible, my grades got better. When I went to WSU, I think I had like a 3.5 for the time I took classes there.
Well, were you paying for it? You tend to do better when you're paying for it.
Yep. That, as I was talking to Woods when we were, I think at lunch, that my view on what I was doing was a lot different than the kids that, I was my mid-20s in class, taking freshman classes with 18, 19-year-olds. And, they're maybe there, maybe not there, not paying attention. I'm like, hey, I'm paying for this shit. I'm trying to learn something here. And I always enjoyed learning. I just was not good at sitting still and being good about attending.
I think I was pretty lucky to have teachers that were good at teaching, because I had a couple of classes that were lame, but I had a bunch of classes, if I remember high school, or what I can remember of it, that the teachers were good at getting the information across, even if it was shitty. Not like English, but like science and math and shit.
I did.
Teachers were actually bitches. I hated English because of the teachers more than anything. They were horrible people.
Did a year at ITT Technical Institute, which I really enjoyed what I learned. I just didn't want to do it as a job.
Was that learning computers or what?
Electronic stuff. Basically, electrical engineering degree, but kind of a fast track. But I quit just.
They start you with how like logic works, and then how circuits work, and then how you build stuff, and then cool.
you've got I forget how long the class we spent in school, but half the time you'd be doing classroom work, and then half the time doing lab work. So you're building circuits and stuff. And I kind of wish I would have stayed a little longer, because I quit just before doing the digital stuff. I would have liked to learn that. But I don't know, I did well and enjoyed it, but I just didn't, I knew I didn't want to do it as a job. And then there was other stuff that kind of, my mom's cancer came back, so I moved back to help her out. Ended up working at the shipyard while I was back with her. So I don't know, most of my adult life just drifted around, not knowing what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, until I kind of figured I didn't like the way stuff was going, so I needed to change.
Amen. I didn't start college till I was 27. And then I got there and I'm like, college is way easier than working. Let's do that.
Defense Dad said I graduated high school with a 1.87 GPA. I was always skipping school to go to work. Dean's List all through college, though, because I liked it.
I can't remember for the life of me what my GPA was, but it must have been all right. I don't think I was like top of the class or nothing, but I don't know. I never complained about it. I know I got some D's and shit, though.
They were dumb enough to tell me that you only needed a 1.0 to pass a class. So as soon as I got a D, I'd figure out wherever a D was, and then I'd quit doing work.
Yeah, in English and shit, I would definitely do that, because fuck it.
I'm out. I had no intention of going to college, so they were like...
But for me, at least, I don't know what it was like for you guys. I think in already, like, freshmen, you could start to pick your classes a little bit, but sophomores, I'm pretty sure I don't remember bitching about. Like, I had pretty fucking awesome classes. Even gym, like, we could pick our tracks or whatever they were called. So I could just be like, oh, I want to do weightlifting the whole fucking time. So my gym was just fucking weightlifting for like 3 years.
My senior year was a complete joke. I had auto shop twice, and then I had weightlifting. And the weightlifting coach was a pretty nice dude, and he would give us like notes so we could go get parts for his car, because he had the really cheesy Porsche that was made by Volkswagen, and it was always fucked up. So I would get my friends to fix it. So I was always in good with him. And then I had a religion class, and then I think an English after lunch, and I was done by like 2:00.
New York Outcast was out there. He's probably up early to go to the working. And Vulcan Rumble said Congress gave that industry to Taiwan in 1996. Not sure which industry we were talking about.
Which industry?
I'm not sure.
Oh, the microchips or something? We don't really do shit. We're about to start making new places here in Arizona. We got some giant, huge ass fucking complexes. Like, I don't think they're just buildings, but like, you know, because they got desert out here, they can do whatever the fuck they wanted. Nobody's done anything with it. So they're making these giant buildings between here and Phoenix, and they're supposed to be what do they call them? Microchip like factories or whatever.
Yeah.
Tons of jobs. I think I'm in one of the states that's going to end up growing because of that.
Oh, that's good. And
Oh no, it's bad. It will go
bad.
we'll go anti-gun really fast.
Yeah, it's
We'll be like
it'll bring in money to the
bloated-
state and
be
jobs,
like-
but any quaintness is gonna be pushed.
No,
out.
there was no Arizona was already gross. I guess we have 4 million people here. Phoenix is massive, and then Tucson is pretty gross. So this is all going to build up in between us, but it's all California. We're just going to be like a big glob off of California with a bunch of California laws. It's going to be horrible.
Defense Dad said I made $40K per year, junior and senior year. That was more than my teachers made back then.
Dang.
So I wasn't interested in school. That
Doing
was
what?
the early 90s.
What was he
I
doing?
think he was working restaurant manager.
Oh
back
shit!
then.
I made enough to buy a Ford Ranger with my whatever I was making in the reserves.
Ford Maverick here.
I think it was like $135 a month or something like that. Like it wasn't a lot of money.
Yeah, that was my first car. It was a 1971 Ford Maverick,
I had the 73.
baby blue.
Mine was shit brown. And if there was ever a coming of age movie, I could make a movie just the weird shit we did in my car.
Yeah, I didn't have mine real long because my sister borrowed it, went to a party, her friend borrowed it, and fell asleep at the wheel and crashed it into a car rental building. Totaled it.
I gave mine to my brother because I had bought the shop truck at the gas station I worked at for years and years. The GMC C10 Custom. Love that truck.
I've got to ask, did you rent a car from the car rental place while you were trying to get a new car?
No. Hillbilly said he was listening. Well, just got down off the ladder. Figured say hello to everybody.
We always allowed to be
Evening.
up ladders in the middle of the night. Is that a thing? Is that legal?
I feel hillbillies kind of do what they want, right?
Pretty
Usually.
much. New York Outcast said, I don't know if Hooters really considered a restaurant. I think he's talking to Defense Dad.
100% is.
Defense Dad said, that's how I paid for college. I had less than $7,500 in student loans after college because of what I made in high school.
That's pretty cool. I don't know anybody that made that kind of money, but I definitely knew people. I knew a couple of people that were very like good with their money. They made a lot of money during high school, and I don't know what the fuck they did with it. Probably went to college or something, bought a car or something. But they probably didn't. Nothing frivolous. I mean, because they were squirreling away all their money. I spent the shit out of every dime I got, like buying car stereos and my home stereo, and then dumbass CDs came out, so I was buying a bunch of CDs.
I don't know. I had my first job, I think my senior year, first real job, and I was not a good worker. I wouldn't show up, would call in all the time. Just that was in my more carefree days.
Where was that?
It was a grocery store, Stock Market Foods in Port Orchard.
Everybody I knew that worked in supermarkets made bank, and they never had to buy food, and they were all like, super happy. They had like what do you call that? The union benefits and shit. So they had like medical and all that. They were super happy. And then whenever we went to left and went to college and shit, they could come back and work on the holidays, make all kinds of extra money. I don't know. I guess in those days when you worked at a store, was it like that where, oh, this bag of Oreos is open, I guess I'm eating it. Like they could just aisles do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, that would happen. It doesn't really happen. Well,
it might have been more like the manager was like, okay, everybody go grab something, and they all go grab something and busted it open in the break room and shared it all. But I mean, I know they could eat whatever they wanted without any kind of repercussion.
Well, it would it would be more if there's something damaged that got taken to the back and was sitting back there, and then when people would walk by, they maybe.
Oh yeah. Like somebody during the day was like dropped something or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, I would have gotten clumsy.
That's what I'm saying. It sounded like from my friends.
I would have done it for the camera and all that. Yeah,
there's way before cameras or anything.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine how our lives would have been different if there was cameras back in the day? We're kids nowadays.
I knew cameras were coming, so I'm going to say that I enjoyed the world before cameras, knowing cameras were coming.
If we were at a party or something and girls would take out cameras and take pictures, I would get really mad if you took my photo.
Oh, remember we had a couple of things. I never think about it like that. I was thinking of security cameras and like traffic light cameras and dumbass shit like that because I knew that stuff was coming. So we got all our angst out being dumbass like back then, or we knew there was no cameras.
That's kind of the way I was too. There's not a lot of pictures of me, but that that was more. So I had plausible deniability.
I was just
if you're talking like selfies and pictures, then there was. I think nobody here, even Gizzard, isn't old enough that where Polaroids weren't inexpensive. Like anybody could own a Polaroid if you wanted one. And then a regular camera, you could get those. They weren't 35 millimeters, some kind of a cartridge that you put in. It was 35 millimeters.
110.
No, not the little skinny ones, but it was the full
about the disc.
But before the disc, but essentially a 110 that was wider. But anyway, you could get that kind of camera, and then you could get the 110s, the little kind of folding ones, and then the disc came out. So we had quite a few, and those discs were super fucking popular. You could take 10 or 12 pictures and then pop it into a thing, and those photomat booths in an hour you'd have your pictures. Like discs and hour photo booths were like that was what you're talking about. Like all of a sudden there was pictures from parties and pictures from events and shit.
Yeah, there were photo booths were about like coffee shops are now. They were out in the middle of parking lots and everything else.
Right. And you could just drive up an hour. Something. I mean, that was till the end of it, right before. Well, actually, shit. When did that stuff end? That stuff actually ended before digital cameras came out. I guess when VCRs came out, because then VCRs happened, and I would say probably the mid '90s, people could afford to take a VCR to a party, or what they call a camcorder.
Right.
But same way, yeah. I was never the one. I was the one to hold the camera, maybe, or to try to figure out something cool, like, hey, let's throw some smoke bomb in the pool for the camera or something. Like whenever I was,
no pictures of the shenanigans. No, none of that. I get mad.
Oh, we do all kinds of dumb shit for the cameras. I've gone back and magnetized all my VHS tapes at some point because I was like, yeah, this probably should never be on the internet.
Defense Dad said, I had a job since I was 12. Single mom in the 80s with 2 kids, and we didn't have much monies. So I learned if I wanted stuff, I had to work. Hillbilly said if social media was around when I was growing up, a bunch of us would be in trouble.
Fact. I'd be doing time.
Ozzy said my first real job was at IGA. It's a grocery.
Independent Grocers of America.
Yep, we had an IGA.
Yeah, I was a big fan of IGAs. Whenever you go out in the middle of nowhere, that's where IGAs were.
Yeah, some of the IGA drivers would joke about IGA meant I'm going Associated, which was their rival, Associated Grocers. New York Outcasts. Some are, and we weren't smart enough to avoid putting things online or incriminating photos. Always cover your ass. I did reach a point, in my mid-20s, 24. It was kind of a few things that all kind of fell in line and happened. I was 24 and dating, 19-year-olds at the college, and didn't like where my life was at, and decided I needed to change. And it just started with, I started showing up on time for work, didn't miss any days, and then was dating a girl, and she's like, "Well, you're here anyways, you know, in Pullman where WSU is. You should take classes." Started taking classes, and that kind of started the change, and was a lot happier. Was still kind of dealing with all the fallout from more helter-skelter days. Had met my wife, and then she had helped me kind of straighten out more, and then had to spend time getting out of debt and dealing with all the collections that were after me. But, you know, kind of buttoned down, got all that straightened out, and I'm a lot happier now. Larry Nuff is out there. Good evening.
We never took any kind of video or anything at a bachelor party. Our bachelor parties were not the kind of thing you want to have any kind of evidence from.
Nope.
Defense dad said my stepbrother kept pics from his bachelor party. His wife found them years later, and a bunch of us got in trouble with his wife. No pics is a better policy.
You know, it's a different time because my brother's bachelor party, he's been married, I don't know, 35, 40 years now. And the cops show up, and we've got him on the duct tape to a chair on a little roof off of a porch. The cops came up, and we're just like, bachelor party. And they're like, you guys have like 2 hours before we're off shift, and then you got to be done with this. And they got back in their car and drove off. We were doing shenanigans. Nowadays, they would have just beat everybody to death. I don't know. I don't think you'd get away with it now.
I've only been to one bachelor party, and that was, I was only there as kind of a fill-in because one of the groomsmen couldn't make it. So he was a friend of a friend, so I kind of knew him. So he's like, "Hey, I need somebody else. Can you come out?" And, you know, he paid for my tux rental and all that, which they didn't include the shoes. But went to strip club and in a bar after that. But, you know, that was about it. Nothing wacky.
Oh, my brother's one, that was like one of the 80s movie parties. Like there was a good 100 people there easy.
Well, when we went to the bar, we ran into the bridesmaids, who they ended up at the same bar. And I danced with one of the bridesmaids. And then at the wedding, I danced with her. And the music, it was different kinds of music at the two different places. It was like country music, I think, at the wedding, rock at the bar. We're dancing, and she looks at me and she goes, "I thought you could dance. You could dance last night." I said, "Well, this is different music. The beat's on 1 and 3, not 2 and 4.
You ever had to go to one of those bachelor parties that where the people are really lame and it's a bachelor and bachelorette party together? That's always a terrible plan. Don't go. You'll get your sick that day.
Yeah, this just sounds like a regular party.
Yeah, that's just dumb. Just don't do it.
Ozzy said, we always went to St. Louis for bachelor parties.
We did one in Canada, like we were talking about earlier. They were young, and we all ran up to Canada and just got hammered, just tore up Canada. So I had fun shooting with you the other day.
I did. It was a very lovely day.
I couldn't believe how much we didn't miss. Like we were just hitting that gong every single time until he told everybody what really happened.
Yeah, in the video,
Take that to our grave, dude.
Well, you know, I'm an honest person. The concussion from the shots would make the overhead ring, the steel in the overhead, kind of lean to.
But we sure hit those targets.
Well, that's what when I was editing, I realized that that's what it sounded like. It sounded like we're shooting steel. It's like, well, I don't want to be deceptive. And that was even worse with my Faux Pro because it's in a case, so it doesn't. All the sound is muffled.
Right on the pole that's reverberating.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time we do it, let's go back to that same one and shoot longer guns on the other range over there. Maybe I'll get the right day this time.
Well, it didn't really matter. I mean,
poor guy had planned it for a Sunday, and I'm like, the day before, I'm like, are we still shooting tomorrow? It was actually the next day.
well, the only reason I had originally picked Sundays because I had to work Friday night, but I didn't. Family's out of town, and I don't have to anything else that day. So when you said Saturday instead of Sunday, it's like, yeah, fuck it, we'll go. Let's go. Yeah, well,
we should remember targets this time.
Yeah, like I told you, I'm kind of forgetful.
Don't worry.
We went to indoor range first, but I forgot my key card to get in, so we had to go home, and they were packed, so we ended up going to the outdoor range instead. But I forgot to bring targets. But luckily, there were some old targets laying around, so we had something to shoot at. That's part of the reason I didn't film the targets, is because they were so full of holes anyways.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell where we were shooting. But yeah, you can I've got a few different AR calibers you can choose from. 5.56, 450 Bushmaster, 350 Legend, 300 Blackout. Then I've got half an AR-10 build done. I got the assault weapons ban passed halfway through that build, and I didn't have enough to finish it before it happened, which I kind of knew might happen, but I figured I'll get as much done as I can, which wasn't quite enough.
I got my PC9s, and I got my PC9 charger, and all kinds of shotguns.
I don't know if you're
there, right?
What's that?
You shoot shotguns at the range that was behind us?
Yeah. And I've got, I don't know if you're into bolt action, I've got my Howa, my 30-06.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Which it's a synthetic stock, so it kicks a little more than a wood stock, but it's pretty accurate. Oh, I've got 6.5 Grendel also. That's the other one.
That was nice.
Yeah, if there's one of those you want to try, we can take those.
Oh, did you see Defense Dad saying that his metal rip does the same thing? He was on to us.
Yeah.
I like the car she had.
What's that?
I like that.
Oh, that's the 65.
Yeah.
It's been a good gun. Haven't had any problems with it. I still need to clean it. I took out a bunch of, guns that I had been in the safe that I needed to be cleaned. I hadn't cleaned in a while. Decided yesterday I'd just get them all done. Did them all except the revolver.
I'm a bad kid. Mine are still sitting literally right next to me in the case that I had. They're still
overall, they weren't as dirty as I thought they were. So I had my CZ75 Compact. I hadn't been carrying that because I needed to clean it. But when I cleaned it, it looked like I might have already cleaned it and forgot about it. There was hardly any carbon in there. Oh, let me do... we'll do this.
GearWebsites.com for 2A stickers, patches, books, logo design, web design, 3D printing, technology consulting, and so much more. GearWebsites.com.
Mr. Gear Websites, is there anything you would like to plug?
No, just now we're getting ready to do the bracket. Is that what you're saying?
No, I have to wait for the valve honing on the bracket before we can do another bracket.
Why don't we use that wind-up bracket that you got sitting? I can see it behind you over there.
No, the clockwork spring broke on it because we were using it too much.
That's
Well,
right.
we didn't use it online, but we were using it for fun at home, and it broke the spring. Oh,
right.
How about you, Barbecue? Anything you want to plug?
No, I got nothing. Thanks for the invite. Great show.
I appreciate you showing up. How about you, Gary? Plug something.
Foul Territory, 9 p.m. Friday. Be there or be square. Thanks for having me. Give him the bird.
Woods, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, Foul Territory. It's a good show. You should totally do that.
It is usually a fun time.
Thank you.
And there will be an overnight this weekend.
Yay!
So I just want to say thank you to those that were out in the live chat participating. And if you were watching and didn't say anything, don't be afraid to speak up. Let me know that you're out there. I do appreciate you too. And if you watch this in replay, thank you. Leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with, how many keys are on your keychain. I read all the comments. They are always appreciated. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.